It provides free, confidential, non-judgmental emotional support. The trained volunteers listen to the callers and try to understand how they're feeling without any judgment, and it's a completely confidential space. I'm sure many of us can recognize the importance of having such a space in our lives. So we will be sharing the details of Pukar in the chat through the session. Do share it with others who you think may benefit from such a space. Right now, we operate from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on a daily basis, and we're always looking to expand and looking for volunteers. So if you're interested in joining this mission, do reach out to us. Um, so housekeeping now. We will be recording the session, of course, going to be a valuable session, I can already tell. I know Sridhar's style. He likes it to be interactive. So please feel free to raise your hands and speak when called out, or you can also put your questions in the chat. Towards the end of the session, we will be having a very small feedback form that you can fill out so that we know what you're looking for, whether this was helpful to you. It'll take you less than 2 minutes to do that, so that would be super helpful. Now, jumping right into the topic, before I introduce the speaker for the day, I'm sure we have all at some point in our life said, I should just not expect anything from anyone. I mean, this is a line I think that each one of us can relate to. We often hear this, expectation. If there was no expectation, I would not be disappointed. Or every time I expect something good, something bad happens. Nothing good ever happens. But I mean, we wonder like, what is the real issue? Is it really having expectations? Can we really live a life without any expectations at all? It seems kind of impossible to do that. So the trick is really to see how we are setting them and how we can manage them. And that's exactly what Sridhar is going to walk us through in this session, to see how we set our expectations, how they shape our experiences, influence our relationships, our moods, our emotions, the frustration, the disappointment we feel when they are not met, right? The good news is that with awareness, with these strategies that we will speak about today, we will be able to set realistic expectations and manage them better. So we don't have to be in that space of, I can't have any expectations. I'm sure you will agree that this will create a space for more clarity, connection, and definitely peace of mind, right? Quickly want to introduce Sridhar as well. I've known Sridhar for a few years now, and it's every interaction has been extremely valuable and enriching. His background is quite varied. I would appreciate it if everyone just mutes themselves for now. During the session, you may feel free to raise your hand and speak as needed. Back to Sridhar's intro. So his education from science to MBA to finance to psychology, I think he's had a varied range in terms of his education, and in terms of professional experience, working in a bank, running a business in publishing, retail, housekeeping, online education. I think there's quite a bit of variety there as well. But while working in the field of online education, he got interested in psychology and did a course in counseling from Banjara. He subsequently he also did a master's in psychology and subsequently started an online 1 year diploma program for Banjara, which he managed for about 5 years. Currently, he is the director of Darwin Psychology Center that offers training in different domains of psychology. He's also a very active counselor. Darwin Psychology's aim is to spread mental health awareness of mental health issues by conducting online and offline workshops. And I have personally benefited from these workshops. And if you are in this space, I would urge you to definitely reach out to him. There's always some very interesting course that is running throughout the year. So definitely would reach out to him. I know there's student psychology, there is life skills, there's emotional intelligence, there's marriage counseling. There's a lot of very useful, very practical courses that they do offer. So Sridhar, your journey has been quite varied, and I'm sure throughout this journey you've had to manage a lot of expectations from others, from yourself, and from the situation. So I can see no better person to do this for us. So glad that you're here, and thank you so much for doing this for us. Over to you, Srila.
Morning, Anu. Morning, everyone. And thanks, Anu, for that introduction. And thanks for inviting me for taking this session on a fourth Saturday when it's a holiday. And I was not really expecting 50 plus people for this session on expectations. So the number of people here is exceeded my expectations of how many people will come on a Saturday morning for a session like this. And I don't know if you have people, if I have here people who are come with a very high expectations of, they're going to receive some magical thing to take care of their expectations, then you're going to be disappointed. But if you come with some realistic expectations that, yeah, some takeaways could be there in this session, and I'm going to have fun listening to somebody talk and also see if there's something that I can apply in my life, then fair enough. You come with a realistic expectations of what can happen in a 1 hour talk. Right. So welcome to this session. And like Anu said, I would like to keep it as interactive as possible. Uh, Please do jump in with your experiences, your stories, or your examples if you can. And if I ask a question, please feel free to unmute or just raise your hand, because the number of people here are quite high. So instead of unmuting and talking, just raise your hand, and either I or Anu will call you out, and we can continue our interactions. Right? Does that make sense? Okay, then let us jump right into our topic of managing expectations. What we are looking at it is that, like Anu said, can we live without expectations? That's the first question that pops into our mind, that can I live without expectations? My answer is yes, you can live without expectations. And for that, you've got to be in the Himalayas and all alone on your own, not with people around you, right? If you have reached that exalted state of nirvana, if you have reached that exalted state of enlightenment, perhaps you can live without expectations. But if you are going to live in amidst a lot of people, amidst a lot of things that you need to get to do, you can't live without expectations. Expectations are built into us, right? It's wired into us. And when we look at expectations, I just want you to take a look at what really are some of the main ideas about expectations. The first thing is that expectations are basically mental projections, right? About how others should be, how the situation should be, and also how I should be. Our expectations are not only from others, our expectations are also from ourselves. And that is a more killer thing than what I would say expectations from others. It's one thing to have expectations from others and say, oh, they did not live up to my expectations. But it's another thing to say, I did not live up to my own expectations, which is much more harmful than what we can think of. So basically, expectations are our mental projections. We are saying tomorrow it should be like this, day after tomorrow it should be like this, that kind of a thing. Or my dad should have behaved like this, my spouse should behave like this. I have expectations even from strangers, right? That a stranger should behave in a particular way. There is a reason why we have those expectations. So basically, expectations are mental projections. It's our human mind saying how things ought to be, how things should be, how things must be. So that is what mental projections are basically. And all our projections are basically rooted in desires, past experiences, or our cultural norms. What do we mean by this? It's rooted in our own desires, how we want life to be, how we want others to be, how we want ourselves to be. That's our desire. And again, if I say, can we live without expectation, then you got to go back to the idea of, can we live without desires, right? Right? Buddha said desire is the cause of all sorrow. Very true. But can we live without desires? Right? Buddha's one of the fundamental ideas of Buddhism is that desire is the cause of all sorrows. And when I read that first statement, desire is the cause of all sorrows, in maybe in the fourth, fifth grade, when we have that social studies textbook and says desire is the cause of sorrows, I'm like, oh my God, such a nice thing to say, desire is the cause of all sorrows. But how do we give up desires? Right? So basically, desires are a part of who we are. We are wired to have desires, and it's all right to have desires, right? There's nothing wrong with that part of it. So again, our expectations comes from our desires. It also comes from our past experiences, right? That I had succeeded so much in the last thing that I did. Why am I not succeeding it now? My child succeeded up to the ninth grade. He was so wonderful in his academics. Why is he failing in the 10th grade? So my desire comes from my past experience of something that I have achieved or not achieved. right? Again, my expectations can come, oh, I've already tried this 3 times and not succeeded, so this time also I might not succeed. So whether it is a positive expectation result or a negative expectation result, that comes from our past experience. And also the cultural norms. Now, what are cultural norms? Basically, what everybody is expected to do in a role. When we say cultural norms, we are saying role plays. We all do so many role plays in our life. We play the role of a parent, we play the role of a child, we play the role of a friend, we play the role of a sibling, we play the role of a colleagues. So there are cultural norms. When we say that a dad is expected to do certain things, a mom is expected to do certain things, we expect our children to do certain things in a certain way. So there's a cultural norm, and these norms are again differs from culture to culture, country to country. Right here, like, for instance, if we are in the Indian culture, we always think that that we will take care of our parents when they are old. Right? This is a norm, right? That you are going to take care of your parents when they are old. You're not going to be abandoning them. So this is a cultural norm, and if we are not doing that, I am not living up to my expectation, I can feel guilt about the whole thing, right? Guilt is again that comes from not fulfilling my own expectations. So again, one of the reasons we have expectation is our cultural norms. So desires, experiences, and cultural norms dictate the kind of expectations we have. And what do we expect from? We expect from ourselves. This is the first thing, one of the most crucial thing. What do I expect from myself? Right, I have some standards, that I will achieve this level of education by this age, I will achieve this level of monetary thing by this age, I'll have this kind of relationships in my life. So we all have expectations from ourselves. Then we have expectations from others around us. We have expectations from life itself, whatever you call life, universe, life forces should be giving us this or giving us that. We also have expectations from God, that God should be giving this to us. Oh, I have been such a nice guy. I have been doing all the right things. Why is God punishing me? Why is He not rewarding me? Right? So there's an expectation from God. There's an expectation from government. The government should be taking care of these things. So we have expectations from almost everybody around us, right? And when we look at this part of it, some expectations are absolutely essential. We can't do without expectations. Like right in the beginning, I said we need to have those expectations. But our question is my expectation realistic or not realistic? Right? And that is the crux of what we are going to be talking about today. That, is my expectation realistic from what I'm expecting? And if not, how do I know my expectation is realistic or not realistic? Is there a way to measure, is my expectation realistic or not realistic? So basically, if you want to understand expectation, our expectation basically comes because we have a concept of time in our head. There is no other species on this earth which has got the concept of past, present, and future. No other species, right? Some of them are just wired to hide food. No, they're just biologically wired to hide food. No animal is sitting and thinking, tomorrow will I have food, right? Or tomorrow, what will my children do, right? No animal is bothering about saying tomorrow will it rain or not. Right? Tomorrow will this my whatever my romantic or my sexual companion, is he or she going to be available to me or not? Right? No animal is bothering about the future because they do not have the concept of time. And if we do not have the concept of time, we will not have expectations at all, right? It's like saying, I don't know what's going to come tomorrow. I don't have an idea of tomorrow itself. So there's nothing like an expectation there. And expectation can also come because of our faith, right? What do we mean by faith? That, that the God will take care of me. God should provide for me, right? I have faith in people around me. My people around me will behave in a particular way. My family members will behave in a particular way. That's my faith in people. So faith can also cause expectations. But is faith enough? Is just faith enough? There was this man who went to pray in a temple, right? He went on his cycle, and he's parked his cycle outside the temple. He went in to pray. And what did he pray for? He asked God, no, thank you for giving me all the things that you have given. Please protect all my family members from any adversities, ill health, and all the things. And also, please protect all my belongings, my property, everything. Please protect it. This was his prayer. This is what we generally go to pray, isn't it? We go to pray for two things. Either we're going there to express our gratitude for what we have already received from God, or we are saying, I want this from you. Right? So there are two reasons why you go to pray, either to ask something from God or to express our gratitude. So this man went to express gratitude and said, please protect my family members from any ill health and stuff, and also protect all my belongings and my property and all. Please keep it safe. He goes to pray there, And then when he comes out, he finds that somebody has stolen his cycle. Right? He finds that somebody has stolen his cycle and he's very agitated, saying, "What is this? Somebody has stolen my cycle," and he's frustrated. And then this wise man who's seeing him comes and asks him, "What happened to you?" He says, "Look at this. I went in to pray to God, saying that please take care of my, protect my wealth and protect my property and stuff like that. And here I come out and my cycle has been stolen by somebody. What kind of a faith is this? I mean, can't I have a faith in God to protect my thing? The moment I prayed and came out, somebody has locked off my cycle, right? So can't I have faith in God? Is it wrong to have faith in God? Expect that God will protect me, or is it wrong for me to have faith in my townspeople that they will not knock off things I have? So this man tells him that no, 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 please have faith in God, please have faith in people around you, but learn to lock your cycle, right? So basically what we are saying is that healthy expectations combines faith with the responsibility. You cannot say that oh, I have faith in people, they will do nothing, they will take care of everything, and then you can't say that I will not lock my bike and go. I mean, so many times we have seen that no, nothing will happen. 5 minutes, I'll just leave the bike here, I'll go for 5 minutes, and it's only 5 minutes, no, I'll go and come back. And so many people now, either the bike has been stolen or it has been towed away by our Bangalore police. They just came and took your thing away on their tiger, what is used to call the tiger vans, and you're like, no, my 5 minutes can't I do that? We are saying that no, have faith, but lock your things, right? Take care of your things. So just by having faith, you can't say that my expectations will be fulfilled because I have faith in human beings, I have faith in God, I have faith in society that everybody will behave. No, there'll always be elements who will not live up to your expectations. So it is your job to say, I will have faith, but I'll also be responsible. Then I can have a better kind of an expectations. Right? So when we look at that unrealistic expectation trap, the trap of unrealistic expectation, one, it comes from the sense of wanting to be perfect. And when we say perfect, I again want you to distinguish that perfection can be on two parameters. One is what we call as work perfection. Another what we call as role perfection. Work perfection is absolutely essential. Whatever work you are taking up, that has got to be perfect. Otherwise, your job is going to get messed up. You're not going to get good reviews, and things can go really wrong if your work is not perfect, right? And your work perfection has got to be tailored to the needs of that. I always give this example that if somebody has to design a screw that has to be fitted for a windowsill, the amount of perfection is different, rather than if suppose I ask you to make a screw for sending it on a space mission, right? There the perfection has got to be more. But suppose you say that no, for every screw I'll make it to the perfection of the space, then you're wasting your time, right? So your work perfection is needed, but work perfection should be proportionate to the demands of that particular work. In this particular work, how perfect should I be? I just want to submit one small Facebook post or something like that. So should I say that I'm submitting a PhD thesis and work on it to 10 times? Should I review it, or should I say it's just a Facebook post, some mistakes, it's all right? So work perfection, perfectly essential and should be proportionate to what we want. But our unrealistic expectations comes not more from work perfection, but from role perfection. That I want to be a perfect spouse, I want to be a perfect child, I want to be a perfect boss. The traffic has to be perfect. The moment I go out into the road and want to reach the office, I want all the traffic to part, like as if you are the Moses saying parting the Red Sea and you want to go and reach the place. No, it doesn't happen like that. Traffic and our expectations from weather, how the weather should behave, it doesn't come from that. So if we are expecting perfection from roles, then you're setting up yourself for a huge level of disappointments, because role perfection is very, very cruel on ourselves, right? That we expect me to be the perfect dad, perfect mom, perfect wife, perfect friend. You can't be. And that perfection is again very subjective. There's no way to measure that. And people can really get upset about, oh, why am I not a perfect mom? And when how do we know we are not perfect mom? Our child has to just to say 2, 3 sentences. Oh, you're a bad mom or you're a bad dad. That's it, right? I'm willing to say, where is the earth opening? I want to cave into that. No, I want to go there, right? So what are we looking at? I'm not. I don't want my child to criticize me at all. I don't want anybody to point out my flaws. Or do you think I'm so perfect that I have no flaws at all? So a lot of our unrealistic expectation that I should be a perfect human being, this this can result in disappointments, blaming one another, broken relationships. All this comes from unrealistic expectations. Now, all your, I mean, when we look at disappointment itself, what is disappointment? Disappointment is your need not getting fulfilled, right? Your expectations not being met, you're being disappointed. Fair enough. But if it's coming from role perfection, it is horrible, right? It's worse because that can never be rectified. And many of the unrealistic expectations also lead to blame games and broken relationships. And what are these unrealistic expectations based on? It's based on basically an unspoken or unnegotiated assumptions. Right? We have assumptions about people. We have said this person should behave like this. This should have happened. And assumptions are also based, assumptions sometimes don't take what I call as human nature into account. There's a human nature is we will take shortcuts, sometimes we will not turn up on times. Human nature is to forget things. Human nature is to not show up on time, not necessarily deliberately. We might just be forgetful about certain things and we might not have done it, but our assumption is that people can't be like that. So it does not take human nature into account. And just to give you an illustration of what I mean by human nature, no, remember the story of Akbar and Birbal had this great argument saying that, are people honest or not people honest? And Birbal said, human nature is there. People want to take shortcuts, they'll take shortcuts. Akbar is, no, 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 no. In my place, everybody will be honest and stuff like that. And they said, how do we test this? And if most of you will remember the story that, they decided to keep a big pot in the middle of the town. And they announced to everybody, everybody will come and pour a glass of milk, a bowl of milk into this pot, and they're going to do it in the night when nobody is seeing them, right? So this was the instructions given that all the citizens of that town will come and pour a bowl of milk into this huge jar, and we will know how many people are honest and dishonest. So what happened? How the story ended, right? One person begins to think, everybody is going to pour milk into it, why don't I pour water? Right? I'll just pour water and get away with it. So he goes and pours water, and everybody begins to think on the same lines. And the end of it, what do we have? We have a pot full of more of water than of milk, right? So what does this demonstrate to us? It demonstrates that, people love shortcuts. No, don't have expectations where you're ignoring human nature. Human nature is to have shortcuts. What does it mean, shortcuts? If your child says that, if I can read only this much and get away with it, he will do that, right? If we can find a path of the easiest, least resistance, we will do that. So if you're saying, no, we should all be hardworking, we should take only the hard work, hard route out, no, it's not going to happen. Just to give you another example of what I mean by shortcuts, I'll actually give you a physical example of this shortcut. There was a university which built two buildings. There's huge open area. There was a huge campus. They erected two buildings. They said this is the main building and this is the library building. And now they wanted to connect a path to the building. So they said we'll build a beautiful L-shaped, with cobblestones and all. We will lay a path from this building to that building. It will go in this nice, beautiful L shape. So one guy said, no, 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 don't do that. They said, why not? It will be a beautiful path. We'll tell people how to go. He said, no, 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 don't do that. You wait for some time. See which path people will take between these two buildings. And then build a path on that, because no matter which path you build, people will take the shortest route to the place if it's available. So they decided to wait and see. And then, as human nature happens, people looked at the shortest path from this building to that building, cutting across the lawn, cutting across the grass, and they started walking on that. He said, now you have a path, now build your path on that. Right? If you had built a path there, nobody would have taken that path. Everybody would have gone in the shortest possible path. I'm giving you a physical example, but the same thing applies in emotional things, same thing applies in intellectual things, same thing applies in human nature, that we love to take shortcuts and go into the how can I reach the place the fastest. We like to spend the least amount of time and effort, right? We want to spend as little effort as possible in getting it done, and nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with that, as long as you're doing it in your own ethical way, or whatever way you're doing it, that's perfectly all right. And it's also important to understand that there will be lies and cheating if there's no fear of getting caught, right? That example of Akbar's story said that, there will be nobody watching you. You come and pour milk into that. So if there's a if there is no fear of getting caught, people will lie and cheat. This is human nature, right? And we should expect this from whenever you're trying to impose a rule, whether it is at home, whether it is in the office, whether it's in your public spaces. If you're imposing a rule, if there's a possibility that you're not going to get caught, you will cheat. And when I say cheat, it need not be in a big way. We will break rules. Whatever rules are there, they will get broken if there's a possibility that nothing is going to happen if you break the rules. I'll give you even more simpler example. We're all supposed to wear a helmet and drive on the road. This is the rule, right? And if the police catches you, you will be fined. This is the rule. But every day in the morning, I have to take my two-wheeler out to get milk from the nearest Nandini booth here. Will I wear a helmet for going for a 2-minute ride and come back? Highly unlikely, unless there's a police guy standing there now saying, oh, I caught you. I know that early morning 6 o'clock no police guy will be there, so I will break those rules. So this is human nature. So accept human nature and work around human nature to see what kind of expectation should we have. So is my expectation realistic or not realistic? So far I've just covered what exactly are expectations and how do we deal with it, right? Next I just want to take you into expectations, the realistic part of expectations. But any thoughts, anybody wants to share any experience or anything, please? Yes, Ranjita.
Yeah, this reminded me of. I always used to think when there is a skywalk, why do people jump? It's they have made that facility for us, but then it's a highway, and still people prefer to run. And this always I always had this thought, and when you were saying, I was just laughing. Yes, and I think it's the same thing when we talk about why do kids lie. I'm not a strict parent, but then again, when there is an option to do that, yes, I do
When we
it.
can get away with it, when they
With
can
that.
get away. Again, when we ask why children lie, all of us lie to protect ourselves,
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
right? Whether it is children, whether it is adults, we all lie to protect ourselves. And if there's a way that I will not get caught, and I can lie and get away with it, we will do that. And when you talked about the skywalk, I also used to think that so many skywalks but get built, nobody really takes it up. So I always think the better way is to have an underpass rather than a skywalk, because in an underpass, first thing you need to do is walk down, which is less effort, right? You don't think of walking down as effortful, whereas you think climbing stairs is effortful. But in both the cases, you're going to walk up and walk down once. But our mind is like, if there's a downward path, I'm willing to go in that. So actually, if the government is clever or serious and understand human nature, they should build subways for people to cross roads and not climb up and go. And again, subways, the number of steps needed is lesser compared to the climb that you had to do. The moment you see that huge climb and then, oh my God, who's going to climb there? So run across the road, whatever you do. Exactly what we talked about. Yes, Shilpa.
So what I was like, there are people who always want to take long routes also. I mean, kind of psychos only, I feel. That is also not correct, right? See, what happens with me is always I wanted to choose a long way instead of shortcut, okay? Thinking I am more hardworking or I am more intelligent, that way I'll become more intelligent. But then I always landed up in troubles. Abhi kal exam hai and I sit and start reading all the books. I was like that. So then that movie called Love You Zindagi I have watched, and then this Shah Rukh Khan says, why do you want to always take a long road when there are shortcuts? So at times I feel taking a shortcut is not wrong, right? I mean,
Absolutely not wrong, right?
yeah,
And taking a long route is also not wrong, provided
yeah,
you'll enjoy that long route, right? Every time you
okay,
don't have to take the short route. For instance, even just I'm talking of driving, in personal spaces, we can say, oh, I want to go in the longer route because there's a lake around that and I enjoy that road. It's longer for me to go, but I still want to go because I enjoy that process. So if you're still enjoying that process, fine. But if you're not enjoying that process, why are you kind of taking that long route, right? That's what.
right, 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 right.
Thanks for
Got it.
sharing, Deepa and
Yeah,
Ranjita. So let
yeah.
me take you forward. Say that, how exactly do we know this expectation is realistic or unrealistic? So here are some examples I want to give about unrealistic expectation. My boss does not like people coming late, but I think he'll make an exception for me. Oh, really? Why? What makes you think that, your boss, every time he sees somebody coming late, he'll call them and say, why are you coming late? You have seen that, you have heard that hundreds of times, but you think the boss will make an exception for you. Is this a realistic expectation from you? Or look at the second thing. I mean, so many times I've heard this in my counseling situations. He has never been with a woman for more than a year, but I think I am different. Right? I have been with his boyfriend, and he has told me that none of his relationships he is there for more than a year. After a few months, he kind of moves on to another person. But somewhere I feel like I am different. Oh yeah, you're setting up yourself for a huge disappointment, girl. Right? Why do you think you're so different? So one way to kind of know if our real expectation is realistic or not is to say, how have I behaved in the past? How have the other person behaved in the past? Our past behavior is a very good clue to what to expect from ourselves or from others. If this person has behaved like this in the past, he is most likely to behave the same way in the future, because we are all wired to do the same pattern behaviors. Right? So the moment you recognize that this, my boss has always called up people and told them, no, that if you are coming late, he has just fired them, he is going to fire me, is a more realistic expectation, because that is his past behavior. If my boyfriend has kind of moved on from relationship to relationship within a 1 year, that is his past behavior, most likely he's going to do the same thing. So one of the ways to understand, is my expectation realistic or not realistic, is to ask ourselves, what has been my past behavior, or what has been the past behavior of this person? So it is most likely going to be the same thing. So that's one way of saying, is this behavior realistic or unrealistic? And here are some realistic expectations. Like, I give space to my husband to be with his friends. I know he loves me, but he also loves his friends. Now, that is a more realistic expectation, rather than saying, oh, if he loves me, he should not be spending time with his friends. Or if he loves me, he should not be spending time with his mother or sister. My love for him is not bounding him from having affection for others. This is a more realistic expectation from people around us. Or this thing of, my son has just recovered from a fever, I don't expect him to grade great marks this time. Right? You are making concession for that. Yeah, he has been suffering from fever for the last 15 days, and he has missed some school, so he's not going to get a great marks this time. That's a realistic expectation, rather than saying he recovered from fever, so what, he should work hard in the next 3 days and get whatever marks. I don't stand for excuses. I mean, people who throw you that thing, not no excuses will be allowed here. You feel like, what exactly is this? This is not taking human mind into account. It's not taking humanity into account, of saying that, somebody has suffered from fever for the last 15 days, so he's not going to do that. Right? So that is important. And even the last one, at 86, I don't expect my dad to give up eating fried stuff just because I asked him to, or just because I have become aware of, eating fried stuff is wrong. This is actually an example from my own life. My dad had two heart episodes. He's no longer there. He lived till the age of 85. Right? He had two heart episodes, and nothing prevented him from stopping and the eating the fried stuff in the evening. Every day he used to have the chips, mixture, bhaji, bonda. He needed that every day. You can tell him hundreds of times, dad, don't eat that, it is harmful for your health. He's will say, yeah, I had two heart attacks, what is there? If it happens third time, I will go, but I want to enjoy it. So just because now as a son I have become aware that, eating fat or fried stuff is wrong, and I'm going to tell him, he's not going to change, because this is his past behavior for 86 years. Just because I have been his son and I am telling him, he's not going to listen to it. Right? So this is the realistic way of looking at, is my expectation realistic or not realistic? Right? But again, how do we know? What questions should we ask ourselves to know, is this realistic or not realistic? Here are some questions we can ask ourselves. Have other people also achieved it with similar effort? You are trying to do something and you have this expectation that you're going to succeed in it. So you look at other people. How many other people have tried this? And how many other people have failed? So if many people have failed doing the same thing, then I should know it's not going to happen in one single shot. Right? This particular business, people have opened it, and in this particular place, I have seen many restaurants being opened and closed. There are some places, I don't know why it happens, but there are some places, which I call as jinx places. You just open, you'll see so many restaurants coming in that place and closing. You're like, what happened? Why is this place, now anybody opens a restaurant in this place, he'll close within 6 months, he closes and goes. What is wrong with that place? Either the place is not good, or there are not enough people in that area to come. So you realize that and say, okay, this place already 6 people have tried and failed here. So let me not, maybe I should look at some other place. Yeah, Anu?
The example that comes to my mind here for this is how the youngsters these days want to all be YouTubers and influencers. Because we see the success, we don't see the effort behind it, and we don't see how many are failing.
Absolutely.
So we don't have that information, but have other people achieved it? They think they have, but they don't see the effort.
Absolutely. We see the results of others. We don't see the effort. Who knows the effort in? I mean, for Virat Kohli to be at a place where he is, or for Shreya Ghoshal to be at a place where she is, the amount of effort that has gone in, who will look into all that effort? That no, they got up in the morning, they practiced, they spent years together, they gave up so many things to be where they are. Right, for a person to be at that level of success, they would have to give up so many of the other things, not to be focused on just that part of it. No, none of us see that. So have other people achieved it with similar effort? That I am just putting in 2 hours of effort and I want the results now of somebody who's put in 10 hours of effort. How am I going to achieve it? So is my expectation realistic? No, it is not. So one question to ask ourselves is, I want to put in so much of effort, I want to know who are the other people who have put in so much of effort, what is the result that they've got. Right, that's one way to say, this is a more realistic way of looking at it. And you know what you want, but do you know how much control you have in the situation? Right, you might want a lot of things around you, but how many things do you control? Just take something like an entrance exam for our kids. Right, our kid might have done his best possible thing, and he has put in so much of effort, and he still did not crack the entrance exam. Why? Because there was somebody else who put in maybe 0.0001% more than him. Or maybe your son missed one question, whereas the other person got a question for which he knew the answer. As simple as that small difference will make it a success or not a success. So, do we have everything in our control? Do I have everything in my control? I just want to organize an event, right? I want to say, okay, this is a family event happening. I want to organize 100 people coming in and having lunch. Do I control everything around me? Suddenly it might start raining, and I've already planned. It's a summer. What is there? Summer. Which how will it rain in summer? Right. So I have just organized the whole thing in an open thing, and I had not done any backup. And suddenly that day it starts pouring in. Right. So did I expect this to happen? No. But did I make a provision for this also can happen? Do I control the weather? Do I control everything around me? No, I don't. So it is important to know that our expectation should be tailored to what do we control in that situation. And we should also believe that while I am have the ability to make free choices, other people also have the ability to make free choices. I mean, why is that only I can make choices, whether other people can't make choices? Again, taking that example, let us say for a family event, I have invited people, I expect people to come, but some people may not come. Do they have the choice of not coming? Or do I say, how can they not come? This is what we have discussion at home, isn't it? We went to their thing all the way from here to there. We invite them. They did not come. How can they not come? They showed you how they can't come, right? They exactly showed you how they can't come. But you think, how can they not come? Why people don't have the choice? Is it that when you invite them, they are supposed to come? Is it? So somewhere our expectations come from this idea that others do not have free choices. I when I tell people to do it, they should do it. So it is important to know that they will choose whatever is best for in their interest. And we also need to know, am I confusing my wishes with expectations and deceiving myself? Self deception is a huge thing for all of us. In some aspects, self deception is good, but in many aspects, self deception is not helpful. So am I deceiving myself? It is just my wish that I want to succeed in whatever I'm trying to do, my profession, my job, my education, my relationship. I want to succeed. Everybody wants to succeed. But is that a wish or is that a realistic expectation? The girl who says that, this guy will not look at any other girl because even though he has had 6 relationships in the past, I am so different that he is going to be enamored by me and be with me for the whole life. That's your wish, right? You're not being realistic there. So this is the way to distinguish whether something is realistic or not realistic. Has it made sense so far? Have we made sense? So any thoughts that come up here? Okay, then let me take you forward.
Sridhar, just one thought on the same similar example as your father. I think it's a mismatch of expectations. That's what it sounds like to me. Where if I'm telling my father or someone saying, okay, you need to take care of your health, you need to stop eating this, that, and start being active. My expectation is for him to be around longer, but his expectation for his life may be to live a full life
Full
doing
life,
whatever he wants.
have fun and go. So
Yeah.
that's what my dad also used to say. I am having fun eating it. If there's a heart attack, I'll go. What is the problem? I've lived till 80. What more? You want me to live till 200 or what? That's what he used to say. So whatever, we want them to be healthy. So at the point, after some point, we kind of give up saying that I don't control his impulses. I can't be around every day monitoring now what he's going to eat. Let him eat. If the consequences is there, yes, I'm also going to be bearing the consequences of your actions. Right. So sometimes we just give up these things, right? And say, okay, let them do whatever they want to. So here are some healthy expectations. Healthy expectations are very clear, they are spoken, right? And they are realistic, they're not magical thinking. When I say spoken, you have expressed that this is what I'm expecting from you. There's a clarity of thought that I'm not assuming that other person will come on time. I'm saying, look, tomorrow we are going to meet at 10 o'clock. I want you to come on at 10 o'clock. Am I clear? I have expressed my expectations from that person. What is always very important in our life is to set expectations for everybody around us. Right? Start setting expectations for people from you. What can you expect from me? What you can't expect from me. The moment that is clarity is there that this is something you can't expect from me, the other person may be upset at that point of time, but in the long run, they know that this is something you will not do in the relationship. Right? Make it very clear right in the beginning. You cannot expect this from me in the relationship. Right? You are a religious person. I am not a religious person. You want to go to any religious places, please feel free to go. If you want me to come, I'll come along with you as a tourist, but I'll not come with bhakti the way you have bhakti. I don't have the bhakti. Right? So do you want me to come as a tourist just for your company? I'm willing to come, but this is something very spoken and realistic. Tomorrow, don't expect this from me. I'm not going to be a part of your rituals. I don't believe in it. I don't do that. So there's a clarity in it. So the person may be upset in the beginning, but they know that over a period of time, this person is not going to do it. So there's not going to be longer disappointments or deeper and bigger disappointments. So setting expectations in every context is important. What we are going to do, what we are not going to do. Right? This is something I will do. This is something I will not do. Right? That expectation is very important to be set. And then it should be based on possibilities. There are no guarantees in life. लाइफ में किसी का भी गारंटी नहीं है. Right? There's absolutely no guarantee of anything. So base it on, is this possible? Has this been done before by others? Have I done this before me? So then this is a possibility is there. But if you're thinking that this will guarantee this will happen, you are setting up for it. That is very highly unrealistic expectation. Guarantees are highly unrealistic. I mean, why people tell you that, lifetime guarantee for products? So generally, when they feel lifetime guarantee, you feel very thrilled, when you see a product with lifetime guarantee. So in my mind, I'm always asking, is it your lifetime or my lifetime? Right? Because often the companies close down. My lifetime is, I'm thinking my lifetime guarantee. Oh, he's going to guarantee I'm going to live for 85 years. So this product is going to be serviced for 85 years. No, it is the company's lifetime guarantee, and companies live less than what we do. So always when somebody says lifetime guarantee, ask yourself, your lifetime or my lifetime? Kiski lifetime ki guarantee hai ye? It's important to understand that it's about thing. And it always involves negotiation, not imposition. Right? Expectations should always be negotiated with one another. We can't impose expectations on people around us. Healthy expectations are always negotiated. Even with our children, we negotiate what we expect from them, what they can expect from us. Let us say I have a teenage son and I have to give him pocket money. What is his expectations of pocket money? That there's going to be an Akshay Patrana or a Kalpataruna which is going on giving whenever he comes and says, Dad, I want money. Yeah, here, take, I have to give. Right? So my expectations with him has to be negotiated. I said, yes, your need for pocket money is absolutely agreeable. I also want to give you pocket money, but I can give you only this much. There's a healthy budget being set by me. Then what happens? I have set a budget of, say, whatever amount I want to give him every month. The 100 rupees per day I'll give you as a pocket money. You're a college going student. I understand you have got your needs. 100 rupees per day, so 3000 rupees per month. Anything beyond that, don't ask me. Wait until next month. My expectation is clear. He is also very clear that dad is not going to budge from beyond 3,000 rupees. So he is also not expecting from me. So we have a healthy relationship because our expectations have been negotiated, right? Not imposed on. I'm not saying that, I will not give you anything at all. This is my thing. Why do you want pocket money? No. You want pocket money? Understand. How much do you want? Why do you want that much? So this is what I can give you. So this is a negotiation and it's not a imposition. And it is tied to actions, not to outcomes. Our expectation should always be tied to the process, not to the outcomes. Our expectation should always be tied to actions. What can I do? What will it result in? I don't know, right? Because results, success and failures have got multiple components to it. We can't identify one thing. For things to succeed, everything has to come right? Everything has to go right for an event to succeed, for the thing to succeed. And for a failure to happen, the smallest thing can make it into a failure, right? For a car to function, all the parts have to be functioning if you want to go from Mysore to Bangalore. But just one small tire puncture, the whole thing is gone, right? Just one wire of the accelerator pulled out, the whole thing is a failure. So for failure to happen, the smallest thing can make it failure, but for success to happen, everything has to work together. So that's why success is so rare, that everything should keep coming together enough for things to be successful. So my action should be based on my what is in my control. Have I checked everything before I'm taking out my car? Is there a fuel? Have I checked the air pressure? Have I done all that? In spite of that, something happens, well, it is life's way of showing that things can go wrong, or Murphy's law of saying that anything that can go wrong will go wrong, kind of a thing. But my expectation should be tied to my action, not to my outcomes. So we all get disappointed, right, when our expectations are not met. So what questions do we ask ourselves? Was it fair? Was my expectation fair, not the outcome? Right? Outcome is always unfair, right? Life is always unfair. Life is always kicking us one way or the other. But was my expectation fair? Did I have the correct assessment? Was I rigid in my expectation that only this should happen, nothing else? There are no other options. No, only one thing should happen here. Was I very rigid about my expectation? Was it realistic? No, again, we ask realistic in the sense, how many people have done that? Have I done it before? Was I in control of everything here? So was it realistic? If it was from others, did I actually convey it to them? I had expectation from others, but did I actually convey my expectations to them, or was I thinking, oh, what is it? They should read my mind, no? They should know what I want. No, they don't know what you want. So if I did not convey my expectations to others, then it was not realistic. Then was the other person capable of meeting my expectation? This is so important. We have expectations from people who are not even capable of meeting it. Do you know? Is this person capable of meeting it? Right? You might have hundreds of expectations from people around you, and you might think that, oh, other husbands are like this, why can't my husband be like this? Your husband is not other person. No, if you want that, you should have married all the other people who are not like your husband, right? If you have married this person has got certain nature. We don't change core human nature. You wanted a husband who was an extrovert, you got a husband who is an introvert. Live with it, deal with it, right? You can't say that why can't he become an extrovert. It's like saying, you like jackfruit, you're standing in front of a mango tree and saying, give me jackfruit, I will shake this tree, I want jackfruit. You're not going to get it. That's highly unrealistic expectation. If you want jackfruit, go to the jackfruit tree, right? You're standing in front of the mango tree and asking for jackfruit, then you're barking up the wrong thing. It's like going to the post office and saying, give me bread. Which post office will sell bread to you? But you're saying, no, this post office should give me bread. We understand all this very nicely when I say post office bread and jackfruit tree. But when it comes to human beings, no, this person should be like this. He only should do these things for me. You're you're not understanding human nature then, right? So understand human nature and ask yourself, is this person capable of these expectations at all? And here are 5 ways to manage your expectations. Yes, Anu.
Just a quick note, since usually the session ends at 12. I know there's everyone's enjoying this. We want to keep going, I think. So in case anybody is having to leave at 12, I just want to remind them that the recording will be available. And I would love for us to have some time with you, Sridhar, for question answers. I can see a lot of smiles and a lot of people relating to what you're saying. So if we can, have some time at the end for that.
Sure, sure.
Meanwhile, we're also sharing the feedback form. So before you leave, please fill that in. Sorry for the interruption. Please keep your videos on. We would love to see your faces.
Yeah,
That's
then
it.
I'll take all the questions in the end. Let me complete. Monica, I'll come back to you in the end. Okay, so let me finish the whole thing, then we can come back. So there are 5 ways to manage our expectations. Make it explicit, not assumed. Don't assume things. Make your expectations open. Tell people what you want. We tell people only, we don't get, right? And you're imagining thing and you're expecting to get. अरे कितना बार बोल के नहीं मिलता है ना ವಿ ಆಸ್ ದಮ್ ಇದು ಮಾಡು ಹೇಳಿ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ದೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಓ ನಾನು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಊ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಸಿಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಹಾಫ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಯು ಮಿಸ್ಇಂಟರ್ಪ್ರಿಟ್ ಯು ಬಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ದಟ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ರೀಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ nobody is an expert at mind reading so make it explicit what do I mean by make it explicit they should know what I need no they don't know what you need better say I will express what I want in every situation I'll express this is what I want this is what I don't want people love people who have got clarity in their head let me tell you that right people really love others now who got very clear thinking they say this person very clear thinking I enjoy being with them because they tell you I want this I don't want this whichever way, polite way they'll tell you no I don't want this I don't enjoy this no it's very clear no so we don't have to work hard to impress them so they should know what I need. No, that is assumption, right? I will express what I need. That is explicit. It's telling you what happens. If a mother does not know, who will, right? I have been married to her for 25 years. If she can't understand me, no, she will not understand you. You can be married for on your 50th and wedding anniversary also, she will not understand what's in your head, right? Forget about 25 years. So nothing you are if your mother does not know who will my if I've been married to him for 25 years, if he does not understand who will, you have to be explicit. I'll tell them what I want. This is a better way. Right? This is a better way to get going to get what you want. So managing expectations is be explicit, don't assume things. And the second point is focus on process, not on outcomes. Again, some examples. I expect my son to pass every exam. That is you're focusing on the outcome part of it. I expect him to make a sincere effort every time, focusing on the process. Praise people when they focus on the process. Praise your children for focusing on the process. Then they know that process is valued, not just the outcome. Most of the time I've seen the child comes back and says, oh my God, 3 days I have studied for this exam and I wrote it. I really did it very well. And the parent is, result barli, no, right? ಅವಾಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತೆ ಬೇಳೆಕಾಳು ದೆನ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ನೋ ಕಿತ್ನಾ ದಾಲ್ ಗಲಾ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ನೋ at that point of time no he said I have made last 1 week I've been studying hard the thing to tell them is I saw that you have been studying hard for 1 week I really appreciate your effort how much marks we will get let us see at that point of time but I really appreciate your effort that's the way to go as a parent no not say no we'll wait for the result then we will know all that sarcastic tone that comes along with it. And here is the thing. Why can't they wait for a few minutes? I was going to come. No, why can't they wait for a few minutes? They left without me. They left without you because they told you that 10 o'clock is the schedule, right? You have to come at 10 o'clock. The train will leave at 10 o'clock. The train is not going to say, oh, she's going to come at 10:05. We'll wait for 5 more minutes. It's not a personal meeting where people will say, we'll wait for another 2 minutes before we start, right? So you better be on time, right? You focus on your effort. Did I put in my effort? Was there on time? Was there on time and still they started before time, then you can blame them, right? But if you are not on time and then things moved because you are not on time, you can't blame them for it, right? The outcome is what you did not expect. So don't focus on the outcome. Focus, did I do my job? So focus on effort, not on outcome. The third is adjust for reality, not for idealism. Don't be idealistic. I mean, again, being idealistic is wonderful for a teenager. We want all our children to be idealistic at a particular age. We don't want them to be cynical or too realistic when they are in the teenage phase. We want them to have certain ideals. Oh, I will do this. I want to change the world. Please let them change the world. Let them do the environmental thing, whatever idealism they have. Don't destroy that idealism. But when you become an adult, can we become more realistic than idealistic? My children should never raise their voice against me. That's an idealistic position that you're taking. They should never do this. My children, how can they do this? As if now your children are something very different, now that they will do exactly what you want. So many people come and tell my children, they will follow whatever I tell them to do. No, they will not. Until they're kids, maybe they will follow because out of fear. Once he comes into a teenager, wait for him to come into a teenager to know, will he do exactly what you want? Will your daughter do exactly what you want? No. You at teenage phase, you will discover that no, they have a mind of their own. They have a spirit of their own. They have a life of their own. So this idealism that, my children should never do this, my spouse should never do this, my mom, how can my mom do this? She did it and showed you how can she do it. So get going with that. So instead of saying that, can we say that, my children can get frustrated with me and they're allowed to express it? Yes, my children can raise their voice, they can say things, yes, within limits, we don't want violence part of it, but my children should never raise their voice inside against me, as if you're some perfect mom or a perfect dad, who has done such a super job that no cause for complaint. No, there'll always be cause for complaint. You can be the best of the mother or a father, you will have cause of complaint. Children will always have complaint about their dad or mom, whether they express it or not, right? So it's okay. There no the frustration is a possibility. I had this was a real life example. I went to some family event, and there was some one of those gyan giving aunts now who was complaining. Nowadays children don't touch elders' feet. In our days, the moment we saw an elder, we used to touch. Sometimes you want to stay away from the gyan giving uncles and aunts, isn't it? You want to say, "Oh my God, she started off again." So she went on for 10 minutes about what it was to respect at that time, and today how they don't say respect. I mean, this child is showing respect in 100 different ways. There are 10 different ways of showing I love you. No, I mean, people don't say I love you in India, right? It's weird, that concept of saying I love you. I've seen so many times. I've never heard him say I love you. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want my parent to tell me I love you, no, in that sense, right? Man, I feel like, if he tells me I love you, if like tomorrow my mom comes and tells me I love you, I'm like, are you all right? Something has happened here, right? In our culture, we show love and respect in 100 different ways. I love you is a very westernized concept of saying it. And if you have seen it in movies, in no movie now will they say I love you in other than English. And if they say I love you in something like Hindi, or say मैं तुमसे प्यार करता हूँ, हाँ तुमसे प्यार करता हूँ अच्छा है, लेकिन I love you, that is something we want to hear. Right? It's a very alien concept. Saying please, saying sorry. In our culture, this is a very formal way of treating elders, please and sorry. Nowadays, it has come into our culture, great. But look at the earlier culture. Who says sorry? I mean, use the word sorry in your regional language and see how formal it looks. क्षमापणे कळಬೇಕು. I mean, are you standing on a stage with a mic and asking people, मुझे क्षमा कर दो? Right? For everything, you can't say क्षमा कर दो. And in Kannada, for please, we say ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು. How many times do you use ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು at home? It looks ridiculous. Please, please, it's ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ please ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡಿ. It looks good. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು is ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡಿ. You looks like, some formal stage you're having with a mic in front of you and talking. So words like cultural words like please, sorry, and thank you. Thank you. Again, thank you is another word. We use it in English, it goes. No, in thank you, ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು, you start saying ಧನ್ಯವಾದ आपके लिए. It looks ridiculous, right? So understanding that cultural difference is important. So here is another way now of understanding about negotiate. Don't impose expectations. Negotiate expectations. I am the earning member of the family. People should listen to me. Why? Right? Just because you're earning, and believe me, your children are not going to listen to you just because you are the guy who is earning in your family, or you are, whether you are the mom or the dad. Just because you have the purse strings doesn't mean that you control. You're trying to control, not negotiate. Right? So if there's a thing, let us discuss this. You want some money, I'll tell you what to do. That's a way to go about it, rather than saying, no, I am the earning member, I hold the power, I am big, you are small, I am right, you are wrong. The Matilda concept, in the Matilda, if you have seen the movie, the father is always throwing that, I am big, you are small, I am right, you are wrong. That's it. Because I am big, I am right. जिसके हाथ में दंडा, what we call that. It doesn't work. That's not the way to set expectations. I do for everyone, no one does for me. Very nice, right? You've gone into the victim mode. You're always swinging between the victim mode or the martyr. You are the victim saying that, oh, nobody does anything for me, or I am doing everything for everybody. So you're the martyr here, so everybody should put you up as a martyr. It doesn't. You want people to do things for you, please ask. As simple as that. Asking for people, asking for help is a better way than other things. And the last point here is focus, move away from control to value. Even if you are a parent, move away from controlling parenting to value based parenting. The event should happen exactly like I want. It's better to say, let's all make our best effort to make it a success. Not exactly the way I want, whether you're organizing a family event, your birthday event, office event, or something. It should happen exactly I want. No, that's control. Move to values. Let's all do our best to make it a success. As a son, as a doctor's son, how can my son choose something else? How can he not choose something else? There are some children who want to follow the father's footsteps. There are some children who don't want to follow the footsteps. They are like, I've seen my father being a doctor. He's never available at home. All the time he's in the hospital. I don't want to be a guy like him. This is how children have imbibed. Just because you have been one, your children will not imbibe exactly what you are. Some of the things, the qualities they imbibe, some of the qualities like, I don't want to be like my mom. I don't want to be like my dad in these areas of my life. So can we say, yes, as my son, I want him to choose a path of serving others, which is a value rather than imposing control. So these are the 5 ways I can think of how we can manage our expectations. And two pitfall words, should and must. In all expectations will always come down to people should be like this, I should be like this, I must do this. Sorry for the spelling mistake, but the moment you move away from should and must, you are in a much, much happier place. And I want to give you one last principle that I have researched and discovered for managing expectations. I had a friend of mine. This happened almost 20 years ago when there was no Uber, no Ola, nothing of that sort. So he used to come from Mumbai to Bangalore. And everywhere you had to go, you had to take an auto and go. That was the only thing. There was no taxis also in those days. So you had to take an auto and go. And he would go out on the road and he would get frustrated with auto. He stayed somewhere in RT Nagar. He needed to go to Indira Nagar. And you know how Bangalore auto guys are. The moment he stops, the guy will stop and he'll say, Indira Nagar, Baralla. Then he says, another guy comes, Indira Nagar, 1.5. Then another guy is Indira Nagar. He doesn't even look at you. He says, hey, isko kaun sunega? He just goes away without even looking at you as if you're some gutter ka kida. No, so he would get very frustrated and say, no, what is this Bangalore guys? It's so difficult to get an auto, and his frustration and his anxiety. And every time he had to go on the road, his anxiety levels would peak because he know now he has to deal with so many auto guys not coming. So I told him, look, I have done an extensive research on auto drivers in Bangalore. I said I had a psychology project which I wanted to do. So I said, let me do on the behavior of auto drivers. So I have done an extensive research on auto drivers, and I have discovered one thing. He said, what did you discover? I said, I have discovered that it is the seventh auto guy who will come where you want to go on meter. He says, really? I said, yes. This is from a proven research. I can give you data for this. It is the seventh auto guy who will come wherever you want to go on meter without asking any other questions. He said, is this really true? I said, why don't you check it out tomorrow? So he goes out on the auto. Now look at him. He is stopping that auto. The first guy says, Baralla. And this guy says, number one, he's not coming. Let him go. I said, you have to ask every auto guy. You can't allow 7 auto guys to pass and then ask the seventh auto guy. You have to interact with 7 auto guys, and the seventh auto guy will come wherever you want to go. So he asks the first guy. He says, Indranagar, Baralla, and he just goes and he says, number one didn't come. Second guy, Indranagar, 1.5. Okay, you go. So third guy, ignoring him totally, just shake of the hand and going, not even saying Baralla. So he waits, and then the fourth auto guy comes where he wants to go. So he calls me up and he says, Sridhar, you said seventh auto guy, today fourth auto guy came for me. I said, excellent. Sometimes it is the fourth, sometimes it is the fifth, but it's always the seventh guy, who will definitely come for you. So he becomes so thrilled with it, that, every time he goes, now he's in a happy mood, saying, I want to test this. Is it seventh guy or the fifth guy? Who will come? So what did I do here for him? Right? I did not do any kind of a research. Right? I did not do any project on knowing now whether the auto guys will come or not come, whether it is seventh auto guy. But I set an expectation for him that don't expect the first guy, second guy to come. Be willing to wait. So until you get the seventh guy and not coming, then you say, oh, okay, Baba, today seventh guy also did not come. But most of the time, by the time you reach seventh guy, some guy will come for you. Right? So this is what is important to understand, that when you are setting expectations, use the seventh auto principle that, I'm not going to succeed in my first effort. Fourth effort, I will succeed. Now you do 3 efforts and you say, one effort, tick, 2 effort, tick. Fourth effort, I will succeed. Then it will not come. Whether you want to try a dish, I want to try a new dish. First effort, it will not come. My mind is set. First effort, it will not be great, but fourth effort, it will be great. The moment you kind of tune yourself to set expectations correctly, you know how to manage your expectations. So use the seventh auto principle. It's a wonderful principle to use in our daily life. So this is what I wanted to share with you on how to manage your expectations. Anybody wants to share questions, anything I can take.
I
Sridhar,
cannot
so,
stop smiling. Thank you, Sridhar, for such a
thank you.
lovely. Yes, Nandini, please go ahead.
Sridhar sir, this was so interesting. The seventh auto principle. I mean, it just changes the way you look at expectations completely. Thank you.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? I mean, he was so thrilled that the fourth guy, one day he comes and tells me, today the sixth guy came. I mean, this guy who was jumping up and down for every auto driver not coming, is happily allowing six guys to pass and said, today sixth guy came. I said, excellent. I did not share the result with him. Until today, I have not shared that thing that it was all a fake thing. I did not do any project. I was just setting his expectations correctly. Thank you, Nandini.
Very, very beautiful way to handle the frustrations, Sridhar. Because one and two, you are okay. Third and fourth, you will get frustrated. Now, this seventh principle is very good. Okay, when you start counting and you will not remember that you have very beautiful, beautiful way of handling the situation.
Thank you. Thank you, Meenakshi.
Anyone
Thank you.
has any questions for Sridhar? I know we are over the time promised, and Sridhar, thank you for being there as well over the time you have allotted. But if anyone has any questions, we're happy to take them. Sridhar, what really stood out for me is how you set expectation for the session, and also about expectation, where you said the concept of time is what causes expect. That is really stuck in my head now. So thank you for bringing that concept in.
Thank you. Shobha, go ahead.
Good morning, good afternoon, Sridhar. It is very interesting and very informative. I can follow you in so many situations. Very helpful your sessions. I have one question about my husband wants counseling from you. Are you ready to counsel him?
Yeah, absolutely. You can take my number from Anu and I can ask him to message me. I do one-to-one, but I do it only online. So you can take my number from Anu and ask him to message me.
Okay,
Yes,
sure.
Lakshmi.
Thank you.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for that wonderful session. It was really very interesting. Regarding that seventh auto principle, usually we are told at work also when you're delivering, when you have something to deliver to a customer, always under commit and over deliver. So that expectations, even if there's a delay, like they will not be upset with your delay. So that was one. One question I had was related to, okay, how do we set boundaries? So in certain relationships, we need to have boundaries. And um, again, is it something similar to expectations, or how do we manage that?
Basically, when we are setting a boundary, we are setting expectations for others. Now, what you can do with me, what you can. For instance, suppose I tell my mom that, between 12 and 1, I'm in a class, don't call me at this point of time. I'm setting a boundary for her. Of course, I'm setting an expectation for it. So boundary setting is absolutely essential for every relationship. Whether it's with your parent, whether it's with your spouse, whether it's with kids, boundary setting is absolutely essential. Build boundaries, don't build walls. Right? Boundaries means they are porous, which means it's flexible. And boundaries always have a gate. And that gate has got a handle on your side. It's so important. You can't have the handle on the other side. Then other people, then it's not a boundary, right? He can control, he can open the door and come anytime he wants. So the boundary setting is
Very
important.
good.
The gate is important. The handle should be on your side is important.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very nice. Very beautiful.
Thank you.
Can I, while the
So
questions
it's
are being
like
answered,
we can set boundaries for ourselves only, not for the other. The example you gave, like you told your mother, don't call me between so and so time. I'm having online session. That means you are setting a boundary for yourself, but we cannot set boundaries for others. Correct?
No, this is a boundary I've set for her too, isn't it? This is a boundary. Boundary is always between two people, right? So when I'm setting
But
a boundary, I'm saying you cannot call me at this point of time. So I'm setting a boundary for her. She has to set a boundary with others for whatever she wants.
so that means you are controlling other person. No, that no, you cannot call me between this
Yeah,
time.
I'm controlling them.
So
I'm controlling them because my time is not available to you at this point. If you call me between 11 and 12, I'm having an online session. I cannot take your calls. So I'm telling them what I can't do for you. So I'm setting a very clear expectation that you can't call me on this date. I'm in a flight. I will not receive calls from you from this time to this time. I'm setting a thing, right? So what is wrong with that part of it?
so that means we are setting boundaries for ourselves that during this time no one will be able to call me, should call me.
Absolutely.
So it's like either way.
Yeah.
But we need to be very real. Otherwise, I cannot say okay, you just try, but she will keep calling and I will not pick because I cannot pick. That is wrong. She
That
will
is
get
wrong. But
frustrated.
they'll
Yeah.
get frustrated, isn't it? Why am I calling her so many times and she's not picking my call?
Hmm.
What has
Hmm.
happened to her? Is she angry with me? I mean, hundreds of stories start spinning in
Ah,
my head.
yes,
How can somebody
yes.
does
But
such
you
a
have said till two no call, then she will understand. Oh, okay, he had
exactly.
told me, so she will be fine. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you,
I will
sir.
tell her that, between today 4 and 6 p.m., I will be on a flight, so I cannot take any calls. So don't try to call me between this time. Very clear, right? So when we set boundaries, when we set expectations, the clarity that
Yes,
brings into everybody around us makes everybody peaceful around us. Veena, go
it's
ahead.
clear. Yes. So one example you gave in the start, I actually forgot what was the question that time. So you said that we accept the person. Like if you go to a mango tree, it cannot give you apples. It will give you mangoes. If I need apples, I know need to go to the apple tree. But the example which you gave with the family member. So suppose just I'm giving an example like is husband and wife. So okay, husband is having a different nature, but sometimes if a wife is saying that this do we can do it this way, but the person says no, मैं तो ऐसा ही हूँ. But we can change habits, na?
We can change habits, but we can't. I mean, yes, that's a totally a different topic. That can we change habits? Can we change others? I'm sure we can change others also. It's not that I can only change myself. I can't change others. There are hundreds of ways we can influence others' behavior, and we constantly influence other people's behavior. Not that we can't influence, but what I'm saying is habits can be changed, but core nature of people can't be changed. Right? If I'm not a
Okay.
very talkative person,
Uh-huh.
you can't make me into a talkative person. Right? The
No,
core.
but I can tell you at least you can nod your head, you can smile. Okay, don't talk, but nod your head, smile. But if the person will say, मैं तो ऐसा ही हूँ, I will not even smile. I will not. But that is wrong, na? That means he's being stubborn. I will
Absolutely.
not talk. So, yeah.
Yeah, so we
How
allow a
can we
person.
deal with those things?
No, or how do we deal with those things is in every relationship there are going to be unsolvable problems. Right?
Okay.
Every marriage has unsolvable problems. So we learn to cope with unsolvable problems. And unsolvable problems comes from personality, comes from their lifestyle. Right? If a person's personality is like this, that's an unsolvable problem. And it's an unsolvable problem
Hmm.
because you've been dealing with the same thing for the 15 years. You've been telling 15 years, please smile, please smile, please smile. It has not happened. So you know that this person is like this. So I say, okay, I'm not
Then we have to live with it.
try to live with that rather than the moment that acceptance comes in, peace comes in. That I don't even have to try not to say a smile. He's not going to smile. It's all right. I will live with this part of it.
Hmm.